Raise a little more sprinkling and love. Golden Debate Show. After this, we'll see you on the Flippity Wednesday. Refresh off of Golden Show. earlymorningmob.com. Like, comment, share, and download. Knowledge is power, and it's key. The Golden Goat.
Different words, different deadlines, all detonate the same explosion. They threaten to crash the government if they don't like the way it's doing something. If they don't like who the American people have elected as president. Isn't that what the Republicans did back in the old days? If they didn't like a government somewhere, Guatemala, Iran, the Dominican Republic, Chile, they just brought it down. Guess what?
We could do that. I'm not opposed to it. No, I said I'm not opposed to it. Yeah. No, we have fifth season could be used for something else, but yeah. On that herbalness. What's that? Herbal essence? Woo! What's that? Remember that when bitches was washing their hair with that and all that? So this is the Golden Debate Show, earlymorningmob.com. Like, comment, share, and download. We're about to get it in.
Bang, bang, bang.
So this Ukraine thing's popping off, and I don't know, man. It's mostly to protect pipelines. It's always, if you file pipelines, it's always to protect the pipelines. And I don't know, man. Russia's been up in that area for a while now, and everybody wants to make a big deal, you know. But who knows? Who knows? All I know is that it's really about Obama and Putin. I want to see them go in a steel cage.
Celebrity boxing.
I'd personally give my blood for that shit, just to watch them motherfuckers go at it. Like, no security, who would? I'm pretty sure he would, but I think it would be. Yeah, I don't know. I think you'd get some blows in there, maybe even some low blows. But
I think Putin looked like fucking Zangief. Zangief versus Dawson.
He's supposedly a ninja master. But I don't know. It's all buffoonery because, like I say, it's really not about religion or class or even countries, because secretly they're like, okay, I slapped you, you slapped me. Slap you with $1,000, you slap me with $2,000 on the backside, and you know what I mean? That's how it works. So I hit you off with some knowledge, you hit me off with a like, comment, share, and a download. That was the longest open ever, but we needed it.
Shining, yo. Go. Live with Carl Calzo. And Frankie Fettuccine.
I bet Flippy and Joe's gonna fight the robot in the The Golden Debate Show. Yeah. The Golden Debate Show. Golden Show. Wow. Golden Debate Show. We gon' talk about this, talk about the Golden Debate Show.
All right, this is W7. What you just saw were
breaking
Russian
news, Will. What have we learned? Russia, Ukraine, war.
A shorter clip showing the same thing. These
go
are Russian
for
helicopters.
Absolutely nothing. Say it again now.
Confused about what's going on here. Well, they're saying it's official. Soldiers passing along this message. As you can read right here. Russian Vice Admiral has just announced the beginning of war for Crimea. So they are fighting the Ukraine for Crimea. They have this base and everything else there. And this is war, folks. It's been announced. Okay. I'll leave links to all this, and I'll also leave a link over here to the Russian Federation's official page. You'll have to translate it. That they break down in detail what's going on, that they had a contract that if any war broke out in Ukraine, that they will be able to get in there and get their stuff out. So far, we've seen that. No one's been shot and killed. Soldiers have rolled right past other soldiers, and they've just kind of like ducked and hid. So right now, this is what's taking place. Russia's trying to get into its naval area and fortify all the airports around the region. And as the Vice Admiral
so I don't agree with everything that Reverend Manning says. You sound like a fucking Yeti.
I'll leave links.
But here's Reverend Manning on Ukraine.
Social order
this is always pretty interesting. His
take
on
Wikipedia, the Cold War was a sustained state of political
I wrote an article on this past
powers in the Western Bloc and powers in the Eastern
called the
Bloc.
Ukraine Revolution. And I want to read it because I'm sure many of you may have seen it on our Facebook page, or perhaps you got it in a tweet. But I think it's going to have a few moments before the close of this segment today. Let me read this statement I made, and I want you to ponder the significance of the things that we are considering here. It says, without a spiritual revolution in America, The present political, economic, and media powers will continue to suck the blood out of every Christian and middle-class American. Would not it be wonderful to see Obama running like President Yukounovich? As I stand before the Lord, the power to dethrone Obama is being distilled and weakened by the hypocritical Fox News and the conservative talk media. And let me parenthetically say here, people like Rush Limbaugh and all that other crowd, I don't even have time to call their names anymore. Continue reading, and I quote, I know you dislike this truth, but soon you will be standing on soup lines after the banks foreclose on you, while Rush, Bill, Roger Ailes, and Glenn Beck will be flying off to their private islands with amnesty from Obama. Take down Fox News and see Obama run like Yukounovich. Leaders and this fellow, we're planning to go to Russia a little bit later on this year. The Ukraine is no longer part of Russia, but it once was. And when I initially desired to go to Russia, must have been 30 years ago, I thought I wanted to go to Moscow. I wanted to see the Volga. I wanted to see the great architect there in Moscow. And I wanted to go to the city Kiev, that great historic city of Kiev. And, of course, wanted to go to St. Petersburg. At the time, it was called Leningrad. That's now been changed back to St. Petersburg. They're on the Black Sea. But Kiev is no longer, Ukraine is no longer part of the Russian. Now, my big take on this is you make
a big deal that this was
because it was guy, whatever. The
ousted guy from Ukraine was living so luxurious, but
my concern
we're living a lot better than the Ukraine people. But
I never
you see these fucking vampires, dude.
Ukrainian president will be living like a rock star,
whatever the fuck
like Michael Jackson.
John fucking Kerry. His middle name is F. John F. fucking Kerry was over there running his fucking mouth about his yachts. Like this motherfucker don't got a yacht.
Paula White, and I tried to discover as I looked at the opulence of a Michael Jackson, President Yukounovich,
naval fleet,
Joyce Meyer,
U.S. got a navy, but
lifestyle, the millions of dollars of homes that they have, the artifact that they have, the things. I said, my God, I would I want this for myself? You can wake up in the morning and you can thank God for a whole lot of things, but I thank God that I am not a greedy person like Yukounovich. And now I understand why he was so easily overthrown. Have you seen the opulence of this man? And this is a very poor nation. Ukraine, they're very poor people. In fact, they're almost bankrupt as a nation as far as their GDP is concerned. These people are very poor. People are living from hand to mouth. Yet this man's living in this 50-room mansion. He's got cages of peacocks and leopards and all kind of wild animals like the Pablo Guzman or the great drug dealer or Michael Jordan.
Lobbying is the act of attempting to influence decisions made by officials in the government.
Money in the bank started with the drink. I remember Obama, one of his first things was he said he was going to close Gitmo and then he was going to stop lobbyists.
Being corrupted by corporations giving these huge donations to our politicians. Well, fast forward to 6 years later, and the reality is we haven't really done much to reform the issue of money in politics. In fact, things have gotten much worse. Now, if you do a shallow analysis of what's happening with lobbyists in the country, you'll come to the conclusion that, hey, you know what? Things have actually gotten a little better. There are less registered lobbyists these days. They're spending less money. But Li Fong, who is a reporter at The Nation, did this excellent investigative piece where he reveals the issue of shadow lobbying in the United States. So shadow lobbying is when lobbyists are able to spend money and then they don't have to disclose it because of certain loopholes in our laws. And the law that I'm referring to is the Lobbying Disclosure Act, also known as LDA. So just to give you some specific numbers, if you look at 2013 specifically, the number of registered lobbyists seems very low, 12,281. That's actually the lowest number since 2002. But the real number is that we have more than 100,000 lobbyists that are funding politicians in order to make sure that they listen to them and not the American people.
Monsanto
so this is kind of crazy.
Monsanto Company is a publicly traded American multinational chemical and agricultural biotechnology
which shows a government study here recently.
Missouri. It is a leading producer of genetically engineered seeds and herbicides, from these samples there were some
remarkable findings, deadly findings. Now, they went to the Mississippi River Basin, and they went to other areas as well, but they focused on the pesticides in the air and the rain. And They took these samples and compared them to 2007 to 1995 and also looked at the change over that time span. What they come to find out is that not only are there components of this pesticide, of Roundup weed killer, but there are also multiple other herbicidal elements mixed with it. Now, this component alone can cause severe damage, and that's the main concern. But with all of these other chemicals and chemtrails and every single thing else mixed in the atmosphere, it just compounds the problem. Now, you're looking at cumulative effects building up over time. They're going to say that, you know, the amount that can get into somebody's system is minimal, but if you're exposed to that over a long period of time, it can catch up to you quick. Now, the numbers are just shocking that they find 75% of the samples to hold this in it, which means that very good chances are that the air that you're breathing may contain these deadly herbicides coming from Roundup weed killer. Just a heads up. I'll leave a link so you guys can read the full story.
This is funny on a lot of notes. First off, they said they found a Bitcoin in the guy's
Bitcoin is a payment system
and I asked my phone to read out and went, so I did it for
created by open source software.
The Bill of Rights in a T-shirt case that has reached federal court. Then, tension in the Ukraine builds as Russia moves into position for a possible military strike. All that
military
plus
strike. The military of the United States strikes and raids are grouping military operations that, alongside quite a number of others,
That's
come
up
under
next
the formal
on
umbrella of military
InfoWars
operations
Nightly
other than
News.
war.
Russian President Vladimir Putin stoked concerns that Moscow might begin using its military might to sway the outcome of the 3-month standoff in the Ukraine. They have already ordered snap combat drills near the border involving 150,000 troops and nearly 900 tanks, as well as Air Force drills training pilots to attack enemy forces. It seems like a clear indicator that Russia is preparing to invade the Ukraine. And now the interim government that's set up in the Ukraine after the violent coup that took place this week is calling on the United States and Britain to intervene militarily after unidentified soldiers stormed an airport in Crimea. The troops there, they made no apparent attempt to interfere with the running of the airport or trying to take over any key infrastructure. In fact, they were content with just strolling up and down the car park at a leisurely pace, apparently deliberately for the benefit of television cameras. But today, Russia has admitted that it has moved troops into the Ukraine to protect Black Sea Fleet's positions. Now, Ukraine, of course, this interim government is accusing Russia of staging an armed invasion. Crimea is along Ukraine's peninsula, and it has very strong ties to Russia. The population there is nearly 60% ethnic Russian, and it's very pro-Russian as a whole. So just on the heels of Russian troops moving into Crimea, Russian lawmakers are now proposing 2 bills that would simplify both the annexation of new territories into the Russian Federation and the process of granting Russian citizenship to Ukrainians. This signals that Moscow may be attempting to absorb Crimea.
In that case, back to vacation mode.
Boots
and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and
That shit's very optimistic.
small ignorance.
Speaking of ignorance, can I show you this?
Yeah. What is it? And so what is this? What explain what we're watching?
I'm not really sure. It's some sort of patriotic musical. It's called That's America to Me. Look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
So, can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Now this Joe Rogan clip is pretty funny because his boy plays for him. It's some like group patriotic group dude, and they do look like some crazy Mormon like cross-eyed motherfuckers. Dude, listen to this, some American ass shit.
Oh, yuck. What is going on, dude?
Yeah, I was just thinking right now. You know who homie right now sounds like? Let's do it. Sound like Dewey Cox.
Real?
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, you gotta see this guy. The man singing this song looks like Don Fry fucked a kid with Down syndrome. Oh my goodness.
That's America to me.
I want to talk to that dude about the universe.
Open arms and willing hands, giving just to help her fellow man.
Watch this coming up.
Standing in defense of right, not afraid to give her all to fight.
Oh my God, they threw karate kicks. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. These people, for the iTunes folks, I'm very sorry. These people wearing Stars and Stripes shirts, and they're standing in front of a big Stars and Stripes thing that says America. This is insane.
Cult, the system of religious veneration and
It's
devotion
insane. I've
directed
never seen
toward
anything like it.
These people probably can't wait for this song to end so they can just go fuck each other. I bet they just snort meth and fuck the shit out of each other, and then they get mad.
They're so repressed.
Oh, Jesus, I can't believe I did that, Jesus. Why?
Word.
Why did the devil tempt me? Well, this is the
That's
last
God.
time. This is the last time. And then they just meet and do the same thing.
Look at his head. Did he just get brain surgery? It's
They
like,
get each other pregnant and shit, shoot loads at each other, make new retards. This is all what we were talking about, man. This shit happened to the Greeks. It happened to the Romans. It happened to everybody. Eventually, the fucking tribe gets watered down to the point where there's so many of these fuckheads that people want to pay attention to them. And even want to elect one of their own to be the king of the world.
it's fucking creepy,
People like
man.
that. Look at the size of that audience, man. There were thousands of people. When was the last time you had 1,000 people for your fucking show?
It's been a long time, Joe.
Exactly. This is ridiculous, man. You need to work that church angle shit.
Resounded across the air. It's kind of weird,
Dream,
you know.
a series
The
of
voices
thoughts,
come in.
images, and sensations occurring in
It's
a
got
person's
knowledge
mind
going
during
pineal
sleep.
gland.
It's just on the tail end of a cold. It wasn't really a bad cold at all. But
Nah.
just enough to give me strange
This shit better
dreams.
be
I always
going
have
off
cold.
tomorrow, nigga. I want to see
Whenever I have a
fucking
cold, I have
Spider-Man
really
senses.
wild dreams. Last night I dreamt I was going to be the singer in a band, and it was sort of my debut. I was young. I was going to be the singer in a band, but it was songs I can't imagine having the ability to sing. I can sing a few songs all right, but, I mean, it was like The Who's Rain O'er Me, Queen's Crazy Little Thing Called Love, which is always surprisingly high. And, man, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And I was traveling with the band in a bus.
I said Crippy and Toad's gonna fight
the robots in the
And I was thinking, should I tell them that I'm nervous?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I can do it. Maybe the band will play loud enough. I remember going to see like a punk band when I was younger where they did an old song called 10 Cents a Dance, and you could barely even hear the singer, if you can call him a singer. And because it was just this wall of sound. I remember I said, well, but some of those songs are pretty vocal intensive. Should I tell them? I'm not sure. And then I was floating down a hallway, a hallway with perfect acoustics, nice and tiled, where your voice always sounds like 10 times better. And I could sing the songs. And I was like, all right, let's get this on. And then I woke up, sadly, before I gave my debut.
Alzheimer's,
in
progressive
another
mental
dimension.
deterioration that can occur in middle or old age due to generalized degeneration of the brain. It is the most common cause of premature senility.
And the reason why he did that is because he has a charity
So Seth
known
Rogen
as
spoke,
Polarity
right,
for Charity
at
that
like some
raises awareness about
congressional thing,
Alzheimer's
and
disease.
all the
His
senators were like
mother-in-law
taking pictures with him and
suffers
shit,
from
and as soon as he like
Alzheimer's,
got up
and
there
he
to talk
wants
about
raise
like
money
this
in order
important thing,
to
which was
bring
Alzheimer's, they
awareness
bounced
to
on
it.
him.
Now, while he was giving that speech, he was
They don't-
kind of
vampires
annoyed
don't
because
give a
bunch of
fuck.
senators stood
Hey,
around,
God.
took pictures with him, and then as soon as he started his speech, they decided to leave. In fact, he says that there were only 2 people left, and those 2 people were the chairman, Tom Harkin, and also the ranking member, Jerry Moran. Everyone else left. He was annoyed, and he said that Senator Kirk was the one that he was really annoyed by because he had tweeted about how he met him and he was so excited. This was the tweet that Seth Rogen sent to him. Pleasure meeting you. Why did you leave before my speech? Just curious. And then Senator Mark Kirk said the following. Had a meeting with Captain Jim Lavelle, but watched your testimony after. Thanks for the work to, I don't know.
And Alzheimer's? Right,
yeah, and
probably.
Alzheimer's. And then keep in touch. And then
I'm sure those
keep in
guys-
touch. And then he included an Instagram picture of the 2 of them.
Right. I'm sure they're going to keep in touch. Yeah.
Yeah.
They seem like they're going to be buds.
Treasure, a quantity of precious metals, gems, or other valuable objects.
Arizona's Superstition Mountains have been a magnet for generations of adventurers and treasure hunters. Many who come to the mountains seeking riches never return. In 1860, a miner called the Dutchman staggered out of the mountains more dead than alive. Something had kept him going when others would have given up. He had been tortured by Indians and seen his partner murdered. For days, he had traveled alone under the blazing sun. What was the secret that gave him the strength to survive? It was treasure. Great nuggets of gold. The Dutchman said he'd found a mine full of it. He would never be strong enough to go back for more, however, and the secret of the mine's location...
Tone, do you think you can kick it to that song right there?
Yeah, why not? This one? Alright, give me a minute.
Such as a serious accident.
All in your head like a tragedy.
This is great.
Not even well.
I just need a little jingle for like Golden Karaoke.
Word. The RZA, the Abbott.
This is RZA, Tragedy, Golden Debate Show.
earlymorningmob.com.
Now that's worth its weight in gold.
I said I was gonna go Dick Cheney on niggas. Yes, fuck you, payment. Fuck shots to your girl, call me Dick Cheney.
So what is it an Oscar? No, for singing it's Tony? What's a Tony? What award is that? Is that singing or is that acting?
That Tony Award is musicals. Like Broadway's.
Riley has heard about the My Brother's Keeper program that Barack Obama announced this week to help out minority youths in the U.S. And he thinks that giving money to the schools to help them do better in terms of their education is missing the point entirely. He thinks there are other people to blame for the sorry state of black America. Let's listen to him tell it.
But you have to attack the fundamental disease if you want to cure it. Now, I submit to you that you're going to have to get people like Jay-Z, Kanye West, all of these gangster rappers to knock it off. That's number one.
What I think these boys need is they need positive role models, which you said.
Listen to me. You got to get where they live. All right, they idolize these guys with the hats on backwards and the terrible rap lyrics and a drug and all of that. You got to get these guys, and I think President Obama can do it. And you got to put them on TV and the net, and they got to say, knock it off. It's these gangster rappers, it's the athletes, it's the tattoo guys. You got to get them in there to tell these kids that you got to stop the destructive behavior. You're going to wind up in a morgue or in prison.
That's one of the funniest clips I've ever seen, man.
That's right up there.
Yeah, I mean, he started with the Jay-Z.
Okay. No, you're George Bushing it. It wasn't that like you put ignorance in it. It's contempt.
Yes.
I mean, it's hateful.
He's putting as much racism in the pronunciation of the name as you can pack. Just like
I can't say those.
Yeah.
I can't say it, but I'm going to infer it just in the way I say them. And he's never heard.
Yeah. Just like when I worked at
Jay-Z. What do you mean? Jay-Z?
Gangster rapper.
Jay-Z, like this giant philanthropist who is now like...
businessman.
Now like he's part of corporate America, for crying out. Jay-Z might turn into a Republican. He makes so much money. Forbes has Jay-Z's net worth valued at $500 million. $500 million.
What is that? Mostly from cop killing.
So, but Kanye West is a gangster rapper? I was not aware of that. I thought he mainly made music underwater.
He almost said Drake.
What is the universe made of?
Atoms,
what's getting the building blocks of everything around us, only account for 5% of the total matter in the universe. The other 95 has come to be called dark matter and dark energy. Apart from giving the mystery matter a name, though, not much is known about it. Number 24. Why do we dream? In spite of spending nearly 1/3 of our lives doing it, we still don't really have any clue as to why.
You miss 100% of the
Some
shots that you don't take. That's some
maybe
meme
that it helps with memory and learning. Number 23. Why do we even sleep? Taking things back a bit further, scientists aren't even clear on why we actually need to sleep. Number 22. Where do we put all the carbon? Ever since the Industrial Revolution, we've been sending most of the carbon that was hidden beneath the surface of the Earth up into the atmosphere. The question is, how do we put it back? Number 21. How do we get more energy from the sun? Since fossil fuels are a finite source of energy, we will eventually need more, and the sun seems to be the most likely candidate.
Crippy and Tone's gonna fight
the robots in the What's up with prime numbers? Prominently used in cryptography to keep your Amazon shopping cart secure, there's a weirdness to prime numbers that mathematicians over the centuries have yet to figure out. The Riemann hypothesis, an apparent pattern within the primes, has baffled minds for hundreds of years. Number 19. How do we beat bacteria? With the overuse and misuse of antibiotics gradually making most forms of bacteria resistant, science needs to come up with an answer. Among the top contenders is DNA sequencing and deep-sea searches for new strains. Number 18. Can computers keep getting faster? Your iPhone is more powerful than the computer that took NASA to the moon. Will this sort of advancement in computer power continue? In large part, it depends on things such as quantum computing. Number 17. Will we ever cure cancer? Unfortunately, cancer seems to be built into our genes, and the longer you live, the higher your chances of acquiring some form of it. On the flip side, however, up to 50% of cancers are preventable. Just don't smoke, drink, and eat moderately, stay active, and avoid overexposing yourself to the sun's radiation. Number 16. When can I talk to my robot? Yeah, we know Siri has jokes, but we mean actually talk, like man-to-man. Although AI is always improving, whether Skynet will ever become self-aware is still unclear. Number 15. What's at the bottom of the ocean? This one seems a bit dumb, but seriously, 95% of the ocean is unexplored. In fact, it has been said that it's easier to get man to the moon than to the deepest parts of the sea. Number 14. What's at the bottom of a black hole? With general relativity and quantum mechanics in an apparent standoff, science has yet to unify the two and come to some conclusive understanding of how the weirdest parts of our universe actually work. Number 13. How long can we live? Only in recent times has medicine started to view aging as a disease rather than a fact of life. The question, however, isn't really how to live longer, it's how to live longer well. Number 12. How do we solve the population problem? By 2050, the population of Earth is estimated to be near 10 billion. There's just no way the current infrastructure could support that. Number 11. Is time travel possible? Although time travel into the future is technically possible, as your velocity increases, your experience of passing time decreases. Time travel into the past is still beyond the horizon. Number 10. Why do we
It's not only that it has an abundance of the things that Michael was talking about, salt, sugar, fat, it's also what is lacking, which it turns out is naturally occurring nutrition in many cases. So that's vitamins and minerals and fiber and things like antioxidants. So you take something like cereal, you walk down the cereal aisle,
dude, they took Wheaties
and you're
and they
bombarded
smashed it up.
with health messages.
And I guess they took a magnet and shit. I guess there's so much like
good
minerals
source of
and like
calcium,
heavy metals
fiber,
in our cereal that they
antioxidants. You
took,
see these
like,
things all over the package. And one of the questions I asked myself when I was starting to work on this book was, why is it nearly impossible to find a box of cereal in the cereal aisle without vitamins, added vitamins and minerals in the ingredient list? And it turns out because most cereal has very little inherent nutrition. And this is in part because of processing. The processing of food is very intensive. It's very technical, and with cereal, it can be very damaging to naturally occurring nutrients, especially vitamins and oftentimes fiber. So what manufacturers do is they add back in vitamins. So essentially, you see all these wonderful claims on the package, but essentially, and you look at the panel and you're getting 35% and 40% of your recommended daily allowance of these vitamins, but they're essentially added in like a vitamin pill, which many people may be already taking in the morning. And I was really surprised to learn where some of these vitamins come from. I never really thought about it in much detail, as probably most people don't, but it turns out that these vitamins are not coming from the foods that contain them. Like vitamin C does not come from an orange, and vitamin A does not come from a carrot. It's very far from that.
With the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments.
The ghost and the darkness have come.
He's here. Thanks for listening to The Golden Show. All thoughts and opinions are solely that of the host, guests, and sources, and is only to keep free thought alive. Golden Show, earlymorningmob.com.
Yeah, what are you talking about? 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 All day talking like this, like that. All day in your hood. Golden shows, golden roads, strobe lights, laser lights. Look at my gold, tripping tonight. Apple shit, early morning, hold it up. No, we said we're talking like this, talking like that. We're talking. Golden debate show. Golden Debate Show. Golden Debate Show. We like this. We're talking hood. Draw the line. MC better talk with big chat. You know we're coming out the best. Golden Show. Golden robes. Golden boss. Golden scroll.